then the world will end. And they're trying their best to keep to remain pure and keep the ceremonies going. It's kind of like what I mentioned before, that if they don't do the ceremony, the sun will just keep going south. Well, if they don't keep doing these particular ceremonies that they've done for thousands of years, this particular era is called the Fourth World, will end. And many of the elders believe that we're at the end of the Fourth World.
That's right.
Ready to go into the Fifth World.
That's right. And again, if we potentially look back at the past, then there is a wide variety of different theories surrounding the fact that we've gone through cataclysms in the past, meaning that potentially the reason why these cults or astrological cults, in a way you could call it, started up was for the fact that they were concerned that another catastrophe would happen again, meaning that the reason why they are very concerned to keep the ritual going is because they know that as soon as we let go, the Earth is gonna wobble out of its axis, or whatever it might be, a flood is coming or something that actually is gonna cause tremendous upheaval. And I personally myself believe that this has happened in the past. And I think the Hopi, again, as you said, that they talk about this as a fourth world now, and soon probably ending. So that is something that I guess is quite prominent within the Hopi mythology. Would you say that's correct?
Oh yes, indeed. There's a grand tradition of prophecy in the Hopi way of looking at the world, and they believe that all these earthquakes and earth changes and climate change is reflecting the fact that the Earth is getting out of balance. The Hopi like to live in balance. They're people who try through their ceremonies to live in balance with the Earth, with the Mother Earth.
Right.
And if they don't do the ceremonies, if they stop doing it, they believe that there is a set of twins. One twin is at the North Pole, and the other twin is sitting at the South Pole. And if they don't do the ceremonies, these twins will start shaking the Earth and moving it out of its axis. And it's a situation that the Hopi, along with all the other Native American tribes, are struggling to keep their ceremonies, to perform their ceremonies, because even a group north of here, the Lakota Sioux, have this same idea that the world is it's the fourth world. They conceptualize it as a great buffalo. The Lakota Sioux see a great buffalo, and during each age, the buffalo loses one of its legs. And every year the buffalo loses one of its hairs. And when the buffalo is tottering on one leg, which it is now, and is completely bald, then the buffalo will come crashing down, and the earth will end.
Interesting. Now, leading into, I guess, your new book, The Eye of the Phoenix, or Eye of the Phoenix. Tell us a little bit about it, if you will. And I guess my first question to this would be, is this, how should I put it, a continuation from your first book? Is that correct?
Yes, it's basically a sequel to the Orion Zone. Eye of the Phoenix, Mysterious Visions and Secrets of the American Southwest. It's kind of a potpourri of anomalies and oddities that I've seen around here, and it's kind of like I try to flesh out some of the things I didn't have time to talk about in the Orion Zone, because the Orion Zone dealt with the star correlation to a great degree, but this goes out into a lot of different directions. So, if you're interested in reading about the American Southwest and Arizona in particular, then this would be a good one to pick up.
Very good. Tell us a little bit about the they're different, I guess, animal peoples, we could call them. I think that you address the ant people, the snake people, and the dog star people in this book. Isn't that right?
Yeah, the ant people, they play a major role in Hopi mythology. The ant people were the ones that saved the Hopi from 2 previous cataclysms. The world has been destroyed 3 times before, and we're now living in the 4th world. But the Hopi believe that, the ant people, they're kind of a benevolent race, and when the first world was destroyed, it was destroyed by fire. It might be volcanism of some sort, or maybe an asteroid strike of some sort. The ant people gave them refuge in their ant hills, in caves, I guess you might call it.
Right.
And they taught them how to survive in these caves by sprouting beans. And there's a bean ceremony in February, or it's called the bean dance.
Mm-hmm.
It's held every February, and this commemorates the time when the ant people helped the Hopi survive in these caverns.
Mm.
And the ant people also helped the Hopi during the destruction of the Second World, which was destroyed by ice. So maybe it's an ice age of sorts,
right,
that destroyed these people. The Hopi people.
Mm.
But the ant people helped them. Now, during the destruction of the Third World, which was by a flood, apparently the ant people didn't play a part in that for some reason, and I'm not quite sure why.
Mm.
But the ant people did help the Hopi survive twice before. And you can find petroglyphs of these ant-like creatures all over the Southwest. I have some in both of my books, especially the new one. You can see petroglyphs or rock carving,
yeah,
of an ant person.
Hmm. And
it's kind of strange that the Hopi word anu means ant,
right,
and the Hopi word naki means friend.
Hmm.
Put those together, the
Yeah.
Anunnaki.
There you go.
And it sounds a lot like Zechariah Sitchin's
That's right.
work with the Anunnaki and the Sumerian deities.
Well, I mean, again, if we were to talk about this as a global civilization in the past, then it wouldn't be either strange that they used the similar words for it, or even, of course, the similar description of it, because they might, in fact, be talking about the same event. What do you think?
I think they shared a lot of ideas and even linguistic roots with each other,
right,
in this global civilization. The new book deals with this quite a bit. How the Phoenicians got around to the American Southwest, and evidence of the Hindus near Sedona, Arizona, and the new book goes into this global civilization a little bit more than the first book did.
Interesting. And then there's both the snake people and let's hold off on the dog star people, because that's very interesting. But how about the snake people? Tell us about those.
The Hopi also have a legend about the snake people. There was a young man named Tio, and in Hopi that means simply boy. And Tio was sitting by the Colorado River, which flows south, and he was watching all this water flow southward and wondering where it all went. There was so much water, and the Hopi live in a desert, and there's so much water flowing that way. He just was kind of curious about where it was going. So, according to the legend, he got in a hollow log and sealed it with pitch pine, and he floated down the Colorado River and out into the Gulf of California, and he started flowing into the ocean, into the Pacific Ocean, and went to a series of stepping stones or islands, and he finally landed on the island of the Snake People.
Mm.
And the island of the Snake People, there he met the Snake People. He saw the rituals, and he saw these people turning into snakes before his eyes. And the Snake People taught him what is called the snake dance now. And he took this back to Arizona. He sailed back to Arizona and brought this snake dance to the Hopi people. He also brought a snake bride, a snake woman bride, and brought her back to Arizona. Now the snake dance is held every other August on the Hopi mesas. Now non-Indians are not really allowed to go. In the early part of the 20th century, however, it was kind of almost a tourist attraction that Caucasians would go and watch the snake dance. And during this day, even D.H. Lawrence, the novelist, has written about this in one of his books. But the snake dance, they use rattlesnakes and bull snakes, so they're using poisonous snakes, and they're handling them, and they're kind of putting them in their mouths, and it's kind of it's basically an attempt to bring rain to this very arid country. The snake is worldwide. It's a cultural symbol for water. It's almost a universal symbol.
Right.
For water, and the Hopi realized this, and they started doing these snake dances after the Atio brought it back from somewhere in the Pacific, and the Hopi build round towers. They're round buildings, and they call these for some reason they call these snake houses. So these round towers that you find all over the Southwest, you find them at Mesa Verde in southwestern Colorado, and Canyon de Chelly in Arizona, Hoven Weep in Utah. These round towers are called snake houses, and they may have been, residences for these snake people that consequently, as a result of Tio bringing his bride back, they had a bunch of snake people being born there in Arizona.
Right.
This is the way the legend goes.
Right. Well, I mean, do you think it's a symbolic tale that's supposed to tell us something either about again potentially an event or an astrological high note in history, or is this actually factual?
It may be symbolic to us. It's hard to read the meaning of a legend.
Of course, yeah.
It works on legends work on, and mythology works on multiple levels, as Joseph Campbell has demonstrated.
Indeed.
In one sense, I think it may have been an influence of basic flesh and blood snake people in the form of the Nagas of India.
Right.
The great tradition of along the Indus River Valley of the Nagas and serpent lore and the Kundalini and all the ritual ceremonies that go along with the snake throughout the ages. So I think it might have been connected with that. These round towers too are interesting in that that's a key architectural structure for the Knights Templar. The round temple, and we see this we saw it in the Da Vinci Code. The Temple Church in London is part of that whole thing. But that's this round